A report this morning happened, and I want to talk about it. If you are expecting this, for me to be any at all positive about this or look at this from an unbiased perspective, that's not going to happen. So you might as well click off. Monty McNair. What is wrong with you? You are horrible at your job. I used to think I couldn't be a GM. That seems too hard. But at this point, apparently I can. I can almost guarantee you I could do a better job than you at your job, okay? Let's see what you did. You drafted Halliburton, okay? Then you dealt him for Sabonis, which I didn't mind. It was fine. You also drafted Davion Mitchell, which I don't know why you did that in the first place, knowing you had two future all-star point guards on your team. But you fixed the logjam, and then you get Domantas Sabonis. That trade hurt me because I really loved Halliburton. But at least there was something I can get excited about. We've never had a player that was already an all-star come to Sacramento. And we're pairing De'Aaron with someone that should, in theory, work very well with him. He does work very well with him. And that offseason, you trade for Kevin Huerter, who was great his first year. And you get Malik Monk on a great deal. You do all these things in 2022. And then, what? You just stopped? You stopped trying? What are you doing? We were good in 2022. I was okay not doing anything at that deadline because we were running on chemistry and it was the first time we were doing good. So let's see the pieces that we have to work with. Then the next summer comes. No improvements. You extended Harrison Barnes. You hella overpaid for him. It was the worst contract on the team. And you really overpaid for him. You do nothing the next deadline. Nothing at all. Oh, I forgot to mention, you hit on Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis. But that's about it. You do nothing the next deadline. You just stand pat. And what happens? We fall from 5th or 6th in the West to 9th? Because we hosted the play-in game? You knew we had depth issues, and you did nothing. Nothing to help. So this next season, you do one move. One. Just one. You got rid of Harrison Barnes. Got rid of Chris Duarte, who was god-awful. Oh yeah, my bad. You also traded for Jalen McDaniels. And then immediately sent them out for other second-round picks. So you wasted 2 or 3 second-round picks for nothing. You got DeMar DeRozan. But we were one of the only few teams that could make that deal work. You see throughout the year, Mike Brown doesn't have enough rotational pieces to do good. You see that we have wing problems, okay? I guarantee you do, because I'm just a fan at home watching the games, and I could see it. I was barely paying attention from October to mid-December because I was busy with school, and even I was noticing the issues. You fire Mike Brown in the worst way possible, only a way that an incompetent management could fire him. You let him run practice, and you fire him on the phone while he's driving or on his way to the team plane for the game against the Lakers. You get extremely lucky that Doug Christie is a great and phenomenal head coach. Oh yeah, what was that? You signed Jay Crowder when we were crying for wing depth? He's 50 years old. What are we going to use him for? Our backup center is still Alex Len, who 2-3 years ago he was decent. He's not good anymore. He's not good. You keep I keep hearing that we're going to trade for Cam Johnson. Lately, it's been we're going to trade for John Collins. Finish the job, man. Don't be stingy with these picks. Back in December, De'Aaron and Rich Paul were saying, hey, I want to stay here, but we got to start winning. We got to start being a good organization. That should have been no problem for any competent management. Okay? And now, someone leaked a meeting between these two, because there were other reports from actual people with inside connections with the Kings that said they talked and it was a positive conversation. And then a few minutes later, Rich Paul is telling him, you better move him sooner rather than later. De'Aaron has said he wants to stay in Sacramento, okay? You can't just take that as, oh, he's going to stay forever. We could do whatever we want. No, dude! What is wrong with you? He has said winning comes before everything. So that's why his preferred destination, for those who don't know, is San Antonio. It's the San Antonio Spurs. Because they have a 21, 22-year-old demigod over there that's 7'3", and is probably going to be the greatest player of all time. So De'Aaron's just like, he's going to start winning, so I feel like I can help that team. Because the Spurs were like neck and neck with us for the entire first quarter of the season. So of course he's going to see that and think, I can start winning next to that guy. Who blames him? This management is so horrible. I don't even give you guys that much credit for being able to bring back Malik Monk or sign Sabonis to his extension or even signing DeMar DeRozan, okay? DeRozan came here, one of the big reasons he listed was he wanted to play with De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis took a pay cut so that we could afford to sign De'Aaron Fox to an extension. Malik Monk took another pay cut so that we could afford to sign De'Aaron Fox, and because he wants to play next to his best friend. All these great moves, you can connect them back to wanting to play with De'Aaron Fox. He was dropping 60 points with no help against the Timberwolves. Like in the beginning of the season, 24 hours later, he drops 49 points. This is when he was healthy. And he started needing help. But we aren't doing that. What is wrong with you? He's playing with two broken hands, basically. He's got four fingers that are broken, 2 fractures, 1 in each hand. He's gonna need off-season surgery. Of course this is coming out after last night, because he had to drop 30 points with 2 broken hands to beat the Brooklyn Nets because we have no depth. This organization is never going to escape its incompetence, it seems. Not with Monty McNair. And not with Vivek owning the team. I don't know how much input Vivek gets, but are you serious? He had the input to get Buddy Hield. He's the reason Buddy Hield was my franchise player for 2 years or 3 years, however long he was here. Buddy Hield. We could have had anyone else. No, we traded our star player DeMarcus Cousins for Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, and Langston Galloway, and like a draft pick, I think. This is a badly ran organization. And you got people villainizing Fox because he's operating how a star player is supposed to operate. A star player is supposed to put pressure on a franchise. They're supposed to. Jeez. This organization is so stupid that I don't know, sometimes I dream that I could win the lottery or something and I could buy the Kings and run them how I want to run them. Just give up draft picks, man. You're not going to get a player as good as De'Aaron Fox ever again. We've never had two all-star caliber players on the same team since what, 2004? De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, that's the best duo this franchise has seen. Before that, it was DeMarcus Cousins and Rudy Gay. Do you not see the drastic change? De'Aaron has been with this franchise since, what was it, the 2016 draft? It was like right after we traded DeMarcus Cousins. And he's been through the trenches for years. We finally start winning. But you just stand pat? You don't do anything? We were leaps and bounds above the Rockets 2 years ago. Now they're second or third in the West. And we are, 10th now? What is wrong with this team? And before people are like, oh, I told you so. When they were talking about, hey, you guys gotta do something. Like 2 years ago or whatever. I'm sorry, I believe this franchise maybe changed and became semi-competent. That we would be able to do something. I don't even believe that he really wants out of Sacramento. He probably just walked in and told the front office, dude, make a trade. Seriously, I'm trying to win. If not, then I'm out. But they probably just like, oh, okay, you're out. You know, this could be compared to, 2008? When Kobe demanded a trade from the Lakers because they weren't winning, or they weren't doing moves. And then they told him, no, we're not going to trade you. Here's Pau Gasol. Here's a bunch of other players. You could tell him no and just prove to him that you can run this franchise competently. But no, this is a franchise that still thinks Kyle Kuzma might be a good idea. Kyle Kuzma in 2025. The most losing as player imaginable. I'll never hate De'Aaron Fox. Some Kings fans, they don't know what it's like having a star player, so they think him waiting out for an extension or operating how a star player is supposed to, they think that's him quitting on the team. It is not. This is what star players do all the time. We haven't had one that was good enough to do this in decades. DeMarcus, you're lucky that we never made the playoffs with Cousins because he never knew what it was like to win. So when he would just re-sign, it was like Stockholm Syndrome. This is the only place he knew. We gave De'Aaron a taste of winning in 2022. Even to some extent, 2023. And he wants to get back, as any player that's competitive should want to get back. But no, it's his fault. Give me a break. This is worse than Halliburton, because you're not going to get a player even close to Sabonis' caliber right now. You don't have any leverage at all in this situation. Your best option is just to make a trade to get him some help. Just get this man some help, okay? Winning fixes everything. It should fix everything. Build a team that is able to get out of the play-in and secure a playoff spot, like, legitimately. Build a team that can make the second round. And if you're gonna trade De'Aaron, you might as well trade everyone else, because otherwise we're stuck in no man's land. Otherwise, we're just the Western Conference version of the Miami Heat, where you're good enough, but you don't have a star player, so you're always just gonna be a first round out in 4 or 5 games. Or like a play-in out. these players took pay cuts so that this guy could return. You could keep this team together. But no. Monty McNair and Vivek are too stupid, too incompetent at their job to do anything. Anything at all. Trade for a project piece. Trade for draft picks like the Phoenix Suns traded for. That way you have more options for your trades. Just do something. There's no way that I have more belief that the Phoenix Suns could get out of their mess than I believe we are going to get out of our mess. We broke a 16-year playoff drought, or 18-year? I forget how long it was. 16. It was 2008. Yeah. 16-year, 17-year playoff drought, whatever it was. And 2 years later, it looks like you're starting up a new drought. Unbelievable. Get this man help. Just trade for John Collins already. Trade for Cam Johnson already. Give whatever draft picks they wanted. Give up the players they wanted. Kevin Huerter. Trey Lyles. Just do something. I'm at the point you could give up Devin Carter as long as you're getting another piece in the trade. Okay? Also, another thing. I wanted to talk about this in another video, but can we please move Malik Monk back to the bench? Our bench is so awful without him. And Keon, and both De'Aaron and Monk play better with Keon rather than each other. So that's a story for another day. The trade deadline is 10 days away, I believe. And it's not looking too good. Just a week ago, I was interviewed. I don't think they ever posted by the Kings media team. And they were asking how I was feeling about the Kings. I was ecstatic through the roof. If they could interview me now, I would have had to tell them to sit down. Because, Jesus Christ, I hate this. Fix this mess already, okay?